Welcome to Mirror Domains Movie News, your place for entertainment headlines. And indeed, this is a live news show for movie fans where we talk about all the trending movie news headlines of the day, including Beetlejuice 2, the Spawn reboot, Aquaman 2 is now going to be a buddy movie. What the heck is that? Five Nights at Freddy's is opening up this week, guys. We'll talk about that. Of course, it's Monday, so we'll talk about the weekend's box office report. But I want to start off today's show by talking about Martin Scorsese. Scorsese gives his thoughts on Tarantino's 10-film retirement plan. Yeah, I've called BS to Tarantino's 10-film retirement plan for some while now. He's a filmmaker, he's a storyteller, and if something comes up in his wheelhouse that's just kind of like too irresistible, of course he'll make it. So 10 films, I never bought that. His last film was supposed to be about a movie critic or something like that, right? But Scorsese weighs in on it, and I kind of agree with what Scorsese said about Tarantino. Quote, he's a writer. It's a different thing. I come up with stories. I get attracted to stories through other people. All different means, different ways, and so I think it's a different process. I respect writers, and I wish I could. I wish I could be in a room and create these novels, not films, novels. Huh? What? Continues, I'm curious about everything still. That's one of the things. If I'm curious about something, I think I'll find a way. If I hold out and up, I'll find a way to try to make something of it on film. But I have to be curious about the subject. My curiosity is still there. I couldn't speak for Quentin Tarantino or others who are able to create this work in their world. So yeah, he just goes on to say, if he's curious about it, why not? And Scorsese has said that he's now, 80? That he still thinks he's got a few more in him. Despite what I thought of Killers of the Flower Moon, I liked it. I just didn't think it was the grand masterpiece that some people thought it was. I don't think it's anywhere near as good as like Wolf of Wall Street or even like Taxi. No, it's not. It's not as good as Taxi Driver. Not even close. Goodfellas, Casino. It's a quality film, but it's. I know people just use it as kind of like it's Scorsese. It's got to be Academy Awards worthy, right? Regardless of how good it is. Anyway, talking about Killers of the Flower Moon. Apparently, Leonardo DiCaprio endless improvisations made Scorsese and Robert De Niro roll their eyes. So I guess, I don't know, what was Leo trying out a little bit of method acting on set? I guess he was just trying to run some lines or something, but it got to the point where both Scorsese and De Niro were like, "Oof, come on, dude. Let's just shoot the stuff that we need from the script." So he said in a Wall Street Journal article, Scorsese said, endless amount of ad-libbing. He also went on to say, quote, then Bob didn't want to talk. Every now and then, Bob and I would look at each other and roll our eyes a little bit, and we'd tell him, you don't need that dialogue. In other words, just stick to the script, Leo. Yeah. I guess I would have no problem with that on set. Hey, let's shoot this line and stuff like that. But the constant, let's try to rework how this scene begins and ends is kind of like, you can do that as an actor. But when you're thinking about trying to assemble the film later on in the editing bay, and you're like, we don't need those lines because it's just going to extend the scene, and it's going to really screw up the pacing, kind of thing. I understand as an actor getting those lines out and getting the feel for the scene that way. The main part I need is just this. If we can just shoot this part and then we can move on, we can do more stuff, and we can get this done a lot quicker. And hey, you don't want our budget to shoot up to $200 million or something just for you to shoot these scenes over and over again, ad-libbing a scene that will never be in the final movie. Right, Leo? Right, Scorsese? You don't want that to happen. Well, guess what? It did happen. It must have happened. But anyway, because the movie did cost $200 million. So hopefully it made close to that on its opening weekend, right? No, it didn't. So, yeah. undoubtedly one of Scorsese's genuinely great movies. An event for all. I don't think you need to see this one in the theater either. Um, yeah. Anyway, Leo, he did a good performance, and that's one of the things that I said in my review over and over again. Performances are there, guys. The performances are there. Okay, but let's talk about the weekend's box office report because it is time to say, where did Killers of the Flower Moon rank? Well, let's go over to the box office mojo. This is the top 5 for the weekend of October 20th to the 22nd, 2023. Number 1 was the Taylor Swift Eras Tour movie. Number 2 was Killers of the Flower Moon. Number 3 was The Exorcist Believer. Number 4 was Paw Patrol, the Mighty Movie. And number 5 was The Nightmare Before Christmas. Re-release. 4 million. In the 5th spot. Unbelievable. As you know, I've never actually seen The Nightmare Before Christmas movie. A re-release. Okay, I thought Saw 10 was going to be number 5. I didn't usually in the past the re-releases like Hocus Pocus and stuff that came out like a week ago again. It didn't crack the top 5. It was just hovering around below the top 5. So I didn't think that would ever happen, but I guess it did. Good for it. Taylor Swift Eras Tour movie came in at 31 million, so it did have a big significant drop, 66%. Well, it had like a $96 million opening. I thought it was going to be really, really lower on the second one because it's not playing during the week, guys. It's only on the weekends. So it's kind of like it's only got 3 days to make up that money. It was no surprise. I thought Killers of the Flower Moon coming in at the second spot there, 23 million. As well, seemed like a good outing, right? But yeah, Taylor, domestically 129 million, 30 internationally for a worldwide total of 160 million. Good for her. It was a real fun experience in the theater, man. Taylor Swift Eras Tour movie. Yeah, yes, I'm a Swiftie, so it's kind of like I even feel like I want to go watch it again, but I'll wait for it when it's streaming. It was just cool, man. Okay, so let's get into it. Killers of the Flower Moon, $23 million opening domestically, 21 internationally, 44 worldwide, which is actually not that bad. And I said that before the weekend that, yeah, critics like it. I guess audiences like it. I was around 75%. I gave it a 7.5. There's some story issues and there's some real weird editing issues that I see people praising the editing for this movie. And it's kind of like there's going to be stuff in it where you'll be like, they'll cut to something and they'll show you something and you'll be like, it doesn't stay on it long enough. And it cuts back to something else where it'd be like, wait a minute, what was that? I need to see what that was. Who was that? Why were they doing that? Wait a minute, I want to see what was going. Yeah, there's too much of that where it's like, it's because you get the impression that the editor sat down with the movie for like, I don't know, months on end and just got to the point where it's like, oh yeah, people will know what that is. So I'll just put that in for like 2 seconds. It'll keep our editing quite smooth. And it's like, but as an audience member watching it for the first time, you're like, wait a minute, what was that? I need to see that again. So like, I don't see a lot of other people talking about that, but it's there. Okay, so 44 million on a opening weekend, 23 million domestically on a $200 million budget. Guys, I kid you not. People have tried to spin this. Well, this movie wasn't made to make profit. This movie wasn't made. It was only made to win awards. Oh no, it was only made to spend people to go out and get Apple TV Plus subscriptions because that's where it's going to be. It's going to be streaming on Apple TV Plus or Paramount or whatever. I think it's Apple TV Plus, right? But it's kind of like, let me say it this way to you guys. Here, give me $20. And I'm going to create this product that's going to do so well. You're going to get your $20 back for sure. Don't worry. Hey, it's good business. We've got good people behind this. Big tent pole people that'll be just like, wow, it'll be the talk of the town. And then the product comes out and I only give you $3 back out of your $20. Do you like that as a person? Would you respect me as a businessman to handle your money next time around? No, you wouldn't. So I don't see why a whole lot of people out there are cutting Killers of the Flower Moon a lot of slack. It costs $200 million to make. So on top of marketing, on top of what the theater's percentage would be, Killers of the Flower Moon would have to make somewhere around, let's be generous here, 375 million at the box office. And it's going to be a tough crawl to even make 100 million. And I put out a video on Friday where Martin Scorsese was waving his finger at Marvel movies and stuff like that, the big blockbusters, saying, well, it's ruining cinema. And I just have to reiterate the point here. Big box office, big budgeted movies like this are also a big problem with Hollywood. I don't understand why so many other critics and pundits out there are not talking about this, because they like the movie. That's pretty much why, but you got to call it for what it is. $200 million, $44 million opening. Those numbers aren't going to go up, guys. Those numbers are slowly going to come down. So it's not going to cross the $200 million budget. Killers of the Flower Moon, without a doubt, is one of the year's biggest box office bombs, blunders. And as a business person, I don't see how you could not call that out. But James is going to win all the awards, and all that fanfare will bring attention to the property. Okay, but it's still a failure. Business-wise, this if you every movie was made like Killers of the Flower Moon, the business would go under. You understand that? That's what people are not understanding, is that if every movie from now on was just like Killers of the Flower Moon, production studios would go bankrupt. It's Apple, James. They've got tons of millions. Oh, but again, I put it to you: if you gave me $20 and I only give you $3 back, is that what you want to have happen? No. So I'm hoping later on today we get a little bit more clarity, or a little bit more astute observations from other pundits, where it's just like, yes, this is not a profitable or even a sustainable makeup for how movies should be made. Killers of the Flower Moon. It should not be made like this. Scorsese, but Scorsese is the biggest. He's one of the best filmmakers out there. Okay, fine, but the movie should not have cost $200 million. It's not a visually effects heavy driven movie. I don't know where that went. What did it go all on DiCaprio ad-libbing a whole bunch of scenes? Was it a bunch of trailer cities that were set up outside of the set? Was it like where did all that money go? Like, you just had like a small street, and most of it took place in a house. What was it spent on? It's mind-boggling. It's it doesn't. In the end of the day, it doesn't really matter if people liked it. I'll put it to you like this: okay, you spent $10 to make a product, and you sold one of them for 5 cents, and that person was so happy with it. He went out and told all of his friends that it was fantastic, but nobody else came and bought your product. No one else came to see it. So it's kind of like, did you really make a good product then? Did you? Who cares if that one guy said that it was the best thing on earth? It doesn't matter if 305 critics say that it's 92% one of the better movies of the year, when your movie is an unsustainable train wreck of fiduciary responsibility. Is that what you call that? Or, it's just kind of like, no. And it is going to get rewarded with talks of best actor, best director, best cinematography kind of stuff. It's going to get rewarded like that. And that is actually going to be a lot more detrimental to Hollywood. Like, guys, spin it around and take a look at it for a second here. Okay, fine, you liked it, but still, Um, you're promoting something that is going to destroy your business. Do you not see that? And that's why I got to call it out. Um, Hardglass says, I might be naive in thinking, but after watching the making of documentary, Scorsese made this movie from David Grant's book to highlight the atrocities. I think it was a noble take by Scorsese. Well, he did. I talked all about that in my review. My review's up on the channel right now. Um, I think the movie does, like, I gave it a 7.5 of the movie. I said I liked it. Um, I think the movie does achieve what it was trying to do. I think it did. I like the acting in it. I wasn't even all that critical about the runtime, and I thought that I was going to be. But it's got some weird editing, and um, the profit margins, the return on investment here is it's shocking. It's grotesque, and I would wish that more people would call that out. Um, Moving on with more box office. VJ's Leo beats up Leonardo DiCaprio's Killers of the Flower Moon at the global box office. So there was a Tamil language film called Leo Bloody Sweet, starring VJ. I think it was somebody told me in the live chat over the weekend or over on Friday that I should go check this out, but I didn't see it listed in any of my theaters nearby. Leo. Um, Parthiban is a mild-mannered cafe owner in Kashmir. When he fends off a gang of murderous thugs, he gains attention from a drug cartel who claims he once was part of them. So it's a little bit like um, A History of Violence. Is that what that is? Because that's exactly what happens. He fights off some robbers in expert fashion, and then uh, a cartel is like, "Ooh, are you really that person? You sure look like a lot like him." Fascinating. I do want to check it out. But even that on the global stage, which doesn't reflect here in the um, box office numbers for the domestic totals, but even that beat Killers of the Flower Moon. So it's kind of like, before we get ahead of ourselves, guys, let's make sure that what's happening here, um, the door swings both ways when you want to call out bombs. Speaking about bombs, I know that a lot of people wanted to spin The Exorcist Believer as a box office bomb, but it's crossed 107.5 million worldwide on a budget of 30 million, which means that The Exorcist Believer is not a box office bomb. But James, they spent $400 million for the rights. No, that was Universal that spent that money. Blumhouse, who produced this, only paid $30 million for it. But James, you got to calculate the rights issues. But it's kind of like, guys, here we are again, a bad movie. We had from David Gordon Green that seems to have crossed 100 million. Despite people going out and saying that it's a terrible movie. And it is. The Exorcist Believer, guys. It's a terrible, awful movie. But for some reason, it's getting praise by some YouTubers that don't specialize in movie reviews, that are like, oh, but it's scary. I've never seen an Exorcist movie before, James. It's like, okay, fine. But for God's sakes, just look at the story structure. Uh, anyway. Yes, there is going to be an Exorcist Deceiver sequel. I don't know how well it's going to do. Uh, uh, we've heard retoolings, but Exorcist Believer is not a bomb, unlike Killers of the Flower Moon, which is a box office bomb. So I think we can pin that all the way down to Martin Scorsese. No, guys, it sucks. Good movies like Killers of the Flower Moon should be rewarded with box office success. Because as I said, if you create a good product, people should come out and see it. People should, by word of mouth, say, oh, that was a really cool experience I had. Go check that out. And if that's like if that's true, if that premise is true, then Killers of the Flower Moon should have made uh, its way towards being breaking even, and it's not. Okay, so that's pretty much the way that the weekend's box office has gone for the top five. Saw 10, the creator. I'm hoping that Saw 10 will have a little bit of a resurgence this next week when this is basically Halloween weekend, right? Soulmates, the Persian version opened up in 9 theaters. Um, I heard some reviews for that, the Persian version. Um, usually what I saw on the surface there was, not usually, on the surface glance of the Persian version was that it was a little bit, uh, didn't know who it was made for. Little bit mixed reviews for that. Um, if it comes across my table, I'll see it. Um, of course, this next weekend, Five Nights at Freddy's opens, and I'll be seeing it at 4:20 on Thursday. So pay attention for my straight out of the theater reaction for that. I should hope to have it up by around 7 to 7:30 ish. Five Nights at Freddy's. If it's an hour and 50 minutes, what? God's sakes, man. Freelance also opens up this weekend. Yeah, that's that John Cena movie. Freelance. Allison Brie. Cool. Totally forgot about this. I might have to sneak it in. I was only going to slate um, Five Nights at Freddy's as my other movie. This will be the only thing. No, I guess I'll go out and see both. Why not? Why not, man? Of course, Taylor Swift's movie continues on. Um, where will that fit? Taylor Swift will be like around 15 million next week. So I do think Five Nights at Freddy's will take the number one spot. So it'll go Five Nights at Freddy's, Taylor Swift, maybe, yeah, Killers of the Flower Moon, then Freelance, and then Exorcist Believer still hanging in there, despite people saying that it's not a very good movie. Arglass says, so it looks like Exorcist Trilogy is going to be a green. Yeah, it is. If the first main, like, David Gordon Green is getting five just by the skin of his teeth here, because people came out of Exorcist Believer and were not happy. Myself included were like, ugh, what the heck was that? How the heck is David Gordon Green still working? Because the movies make over $170 million. And a lot of that, I think all of that has to do with the properties. It's the brand. Exorcist is a brand. Halloween is a brand. Other than that, I think if David Gordon Green put out a movie on his own, that's what I want to see. How well does it fare? I think it would fare okay, actually, because he does have the ability to tell stories. Just for some reason, his interpretations of these franchises, it doesn't work for me, and it doesn't work for a lot of people. But again, you've made a product that people are responding to, and this is what we try to we make ourselves into pretzels trying to figure out the mechanics of what people will and will not see in the box office. What will they reward with their money? Killers of the Flower Moon is definitely hands down the best movie out of the top five. Yeah, I'll even say out of the top 10. It's not out of the top 16 though, because Oppenheimer's still in there, and I think Oppenheimer's still the best movie of the year for me, at least. But that's what we're looking at, guys. What did you think about this weekend's box office report? Was there any big surprises? Um, were you like me that perhaps yes, Killers of the Flower Moon should have made a little bit more than that, but if it were just a little bit more reasonably budgeted, it wouldn't be in as big trouble. But uh, it is what it is. Let's move on. Now let's talk about Five Nights at Freddy's. That does open up this weekend. Five Nights at Freddy's movie director chose PG-13 over R rating. So there was an R-rated version of this. And I think maybe that's the way they needed to go, man. Although, this like, how many teenagers actually get turned away from an R-rated movie. Really, seriously. Anyway, Five Nights at Freddy chose PG-13 to include younger demographics, still delivering high body count, and you can get away with a lot at PG-13 or 14A. It is known in Canada here. Director Emmett Tammy emphasized of the importance of capturing the game's unsettling atmosphere while also crafting fully fleshed out character arcs for our new protagonist, Mike and Abby. Okay, wow. We were trying to push it as far as we could while retaining that PG-13 rating. Quote, that meant the kills needed to be executed in a certain way. And while it was fun in many slasher films to see all the guts and gore, like Terrifier, now you don't need to be like Terrifier. It also is really fun to figure out creative ways to show the moments without showing all the details. In some cases, we leaned into the shadows and silhouettes and sound design to feel like the moment is really impactful without showing any of the gore. So they're trying to be a little bit of an artistic way of killing stuff, right? Um, Guys, I don't have high hopes for Five Nights at Freddy's. I never played the game. I'm aware of the concept that these animatronics come to life and they're spirits or something, and they kill people. I just hope it's a fun ride. I have my doubts about Josh Hutcherson taking this on as a lead. Um, he's not traditionally known as a leading man. I know he's got his fan base. I know a lot of people will come out just to see this movie just because of him, but there's no buzz. Um, I know this movie has its fan base. I know this movie has a lot of people that are excited to see it, but I'm just like out there in the atmosphere. I think the review embargo is still up, and I think it's going to be up until Thursday morning. So it's kind of like we're not hearing external punditry buzz about this movie. Um, I'm still going to see it. You know that I'm seeing it on Thursday, guys. So it's kind of like the last big Halloween movie. No, I don't know. Before Halloween, you'll have your chances. So I will be seeing it. Um, does the PG-13 rated R thing really mean a big difference to me? Not really. So you can drop a few more F-bombs. So you can see some blood, whatever. It's about the story and it has to work out. It has to, right? Art Glass Viking says, I have no knowledge of Five Nights at Freddy's. I might wait until the streaming platforms. Yeah. Um, well, it is what it is. Um, it comes out this weekend. What else comes out this weekend? Let's talk about that. A movie called Pain Hustlers with Emily Blunt and Chris Evans that we will be doing a full live reaction for Friday afternoon, guys, at 1 p.m. here on the channel Mirror Domain. So come join us for that. Netflix, Pain Hustlers. Yes. What else? Well, of course, my review for Killers of the Flower Moon is up on the channel right now. Episode 4 of Survivor and Hell's Kitchen full watch-alongs are up on the channel as well. It's a great series that we're going through, guys. I love Hell's Kitchen. It's real fun. The 45 minutes goes by like a breeze watching with you guys, and it's so much fun. Talking about series right now, Fall of House of Usher is up on Netflix. We watched all of the episodes from episode 1 to episode 8. Great series, man. You want to get in the mood for like Halloween, watch that series. Get all caught up with us. We've made all 8 episodes available on the channel for you guys. Movie reviews for Reptile, Totally Killer, which I still think is my favorite movie of October. Totally Killer. God, I still had lots of fun with that one. And of course, then, you know, we do movie news here throughout the week, where we talk about all the trending movie news headlines. There are my social media handles that you guys can follow along with us. And sometimes get to see behind the scenes stuff over on the Twitch and Instagram stories. All right. Let me wet my whistle here. By the way, I was just looking at a video where you see this big heart thing. I found out a way that there's a way to get rid of it, and I'm going to have to do that. I just, there's a way that you got to go through the lines of code and uncheck a box. I found out about it like 10:37 or 10:27, so it was like 3 minutes before I launched. So I'll figure that out. Maybe for next stream we'll get underway without that little heart thing there. I wish YouTube would allow you to move that around or disable it. All right, let's move on to Aquaman 2. Aquaman in the Lost Kingdom. James Wan says sequel is an outright buddy comedy. Comedy? Is that what people want from an Aquaman movie? Buddy comedy with Patrick Wilson. Okay, well, we saw that Orm or whatever his name is, Patrick Wilson, gets busted out, right? Orm, yeah. Uh, to fight Black Manta. So Aquaman and him join forces, and it's an outright buddy comedy. Tango and Cash, Men in Black. Hey, I like Tango and Cash. Sylvester Stallone and Kurt Russell. Now, if we could watch that one together, that would be awesome. James Wan says Jason plays Arthur larger than life. Patrick's plays the straight man. It's unlike what Will Smith and Tommy Lee Jones did in Men in Black. Okay. Will that work? Will that be enough to win people over? Having failed to defeat Aquaman the first time, Black Manta is still driven by the need to avenge his father's death. Will stop at nothing to take Aquaman down. December 20th, guys. I like the trailer. Outright buddy comedy. Patrick Wilson is a good actor. He's a good creator too. Insidious: The Red Door came out this year and did a fairly good job at the box office. That is going to get eclipsed by Exorcist Believer, for God's sakes. Just, oh, I hope not. But anyway, does that work for you? Tango and Cash is awesome 80s action. Yes, I think it stood the test of time. I hope so. That's why I want to go back and watch it again. I like the part where they're in prison and they got to bust out. I like that part. And how they're like dueling cops, but the placement of them in prison and everybody is like, well, they're cops, so we got to come down on them. Unified them. I thought it was cool. Yeah. Geena Davis is going to be in a new movie. Cool. I like Geena Davis. Scoop McNairy set for road trip comedy. So we're all about comedies here, I guess. Cowgirl's Last Ride. Hanway Films is shopping the film. Davis plays a retired cowgirl who escapes her nursing home. Wait a minute. She's old enough to be in a nursing home? No, she's not. What? And travels across Texas to reconnect with her former self. She's not that old, guys. How old is Geena Davis? I used to have the biggest crush on her. 67. Yeah, retirement home at 67. Yeah. Comedy Adventure was originally announced back in 2019, but now has taken shape. The Scoop McNairy, Julia Sweeney, Jill Scott, an upcoming market, described as a comedic odyssey set against the vast landscape of rural Texas. Follows the story of Texas cowgirl Faye, who escapes her Dallas nursing home and journeys back toward her native East Texas, first in a stolen pickup truck, then on a horse, on a ride of discovery to reconnect with her former self, all while in hot pursuit of her more conventional and deeply concerned son, Randall. Okay, so Scoot McNairy's her son, trying to get her back into the home. So it sounds like there's a comedy in there, a dark comedy with a touch of the possibility of some serious drama playing out. Kind of like, Mom, what are you doing? Mom, you're, yeah, there's something there that could pay off. Fascinating. Yeah. So it's being shopped around now. We don't have a release date just yet, or when this is going to be made, but hey, I'm on board. Um, if you don't know, when was the first time I saw it? A lot of people saw Geena Davis in Earth Girls Are Easy or something. Um, First time I saw her was in Transylvania 65000. And she played a vampire that when I saw her, I was just like, whoa, wow, that's Geena Davis. Um, Man, I was young when I saw that too, and it just, ah, man, it was just like, yeah, she got a visceral response out of me. Anyway, it is what it is. Curious, I'll be looking forward to that movie of hers coming out hopefully rather soon. Jean-Claude Van Damme was apparently vying for a role in the Fast and the Furious series. Hmm. Van Damme says Vin Diesel denied him Fast and Furious role. Huh. Why? I think he would have been cool in there, maybe as a villain, because he played a really good villain in Expendables 2. Jean Claude Van Damme claims he was offered Fast and Furious role, but was shot down by Vin Diesel. Yeah, this is something too that a lot of people don't understand about Vin Diesel. He is on as an executive producer. He produces it now, so he's got a lot of say into what happens in the movies. Unfortunately, he's driven them straight into the ground, but that's a story for another day. Van Damme possibly being in there for which episode, I wonder. Let's just take a look, shall we? Uh, by the Telegraph. In a new profile in Telegraph, Jean Claude claimed that he was once going to be part of the Fast and Furious franchise. Quote, they wanted me in Fast and Furious, but Vin Diesel said, no, I don't want him. Shot down from the dude of the pacifier. It's true. And yet it's to be confirmed on the other end. Well, of course, Diesel won't say. You guys know how I feel about Vin Diesel. His head is just a bit too big, and he hasn't been quite humbled yet. Once he gets humbled, I think maybe he'll come back around and say, okay, guys, maybe I'm not somebody that should be producing movies. Anyway, JCVD, uh, it was a golden age because there was no CG at that time and an obligation to do it by yourself. It felt more real because it was real. About what? The earlier Fast and Furious movies? Yeah. Van Damme truly admires. I'm very proud of stuntmen because they make me look very strong. But when I do a kick, that's my specialty. No stunt guys. By the way, guys, put it in slow motion so you can see that it's me. Yeah. He would have been awesome in the Fast and Furious franchise. He was really good as the villain. Was Van Damme going to upstage Vin Diesel? Is that what Arglass says there in the live chat? Um, Maybe Van Diesel would have upstaged Vin Diesel. Vin Diesel, but yeah, he got upstaged by The Rock, and look how that turned out for The Rock. That's what a lot of people don't understand about Vin Diesel. Anyway, Arglass says Geena Davis was in Fletch with Chevy Chase, but I first recognized her in Beetlejuice. Yep, she was great in Beetlejuice as well too. She was. She truly was. Let's talk about that. Beetlejuice 2. Beetlejuice 2 costume designer reveals Michael Keaton will wear iconic black and white striped suit. It would be only cool though if Geena Davis or Alec Baldwin, not Alec Guinness, Alec Baldwin would appear, but Baldwin's probably not going to. It'd be nice if Geena Davis did though, because she is the mother of Winona Ryder. You got the three of them. Um, okay, we all suspected that he would be back in that not in the striped black and white suit. That's fine. And we know that they're going back to the old makeup effects and stuff, right? Well, Beetlejuice has to have a striped suit. It's like doing Alice in Wonderland needs a blue dress. How long they wear it is another thing. But Beetlejuice, that is the quintessential Beetlejuice. So we will get it, which is cool. Um, Now, Beetlejuice was like a few days away from wrapping production, right? Um, Before the strike shut down everything. So once the actor strike is done, they'll have to go back and they'll have to do reshoots. I don't know when this movie will actually come out. Um, it was slated for September 6th, 2024, which still could be hit. if the actor strike gets resolved, hopefully sooner rather than later. But Michael Keaton, Winona Ryder, Jenna Ortega is in this. Willem Dafoe, Catherine O'Hara is back, but you don't have Geena Davis on there. It'd be nice. It would be cool. Monica Bellucci plays Beetlejuice's wife. That'll be interesting to see. Yeah, I am actually looking forward to this. Um, I had fun with the first Beetlejuice movie. I think a lot of people did. Some of the dancing stuff is a little bit dated now, but yeah, I'll be curious to see what they come up with. Buddy will be back in his iconic uniforms. Why not? All right, Van Damme. What? Whoops. Van Damme has just launched a whiskey here in Ireland. Oh, did he? Single malt? What is it? Let's see if we can find it. Van Damme whiskey. Irish Old Oak. Looks like it's some malt, some kind. No, I'll have to see if my he was interesting in launching a bourbon, but friends convinced him to go back to the roots of whiskey, find an Irish whiskey to invest in. I'll have to see if my guy reviews it. Ralphie, Ralphie reviews whiskeys. If it's a peated whiskey or not, I don't know. Curious. I don't think Gina was Winona's mother. Oh yeah, oh no, yeah, that's right. It was Catherine O'Hara that was the mother. That's right. And yes, Catherine O'Hara is she's in this movie. So the mother of Winona Ryder is going to appear in this. Okay, yeah, maybe the ghosts of Geena Davis and Alec Baldwin have passed on or moved on to a different plane of existence by now. Okay, all right. Where are we at? Let's talk about that Spawn reboot. God, Spawn reboot will have Blumhouse Edge. Yes, Jason Blum, Blumhouse Productions are behind the new Spawn reboot that's supposed to be slated for 2025, guys. Although I would say take that with a grain of salt because I don't know if it's ever still going to happen. Um, so Blum said recently in an interview with Screen Rant, "I'm going to bring the Blumhouse edge. It's going to be edgy and original as compared to other superhero movies. It's going to definitely feel like the Blumhouse version of a superhero movie." Um, okay. Like, what do you mean, Blumhouse version of a superhero movie? Well, all right. That certainly makes sense. Why else would you attach yourself? They said, well, this was supposed to be like Todd McFarlane's passion project um, that he's been trying to get off the ground for a while now. But apparently, there's script issues. They just haven't cracked it yet. I don't. I just uh, at one point Spawn is not in the movie at all. Like you don't see him until like the very end in his visage because he's like they wanted to go like the Jaws route where you just see flashes of like his cape or something. He turns into a bed at one point or something. It's so completely outrageous. Um, People don't want that. People want to see him in the suit. People want to see how good it looks, man. I mean, Jamie Foxx is supposed to be playing Spawn. I want to see that. Um, just keep the budget down. Don't, yeah. Blumhouse has been known to keep the budgets down. If you can do it for 30, 40 million, I think you might get a return on it. Maybe, maybe. Because Spawn is something also that you can't you can't go the PG-13 route because of all the hell and the demons and stuff that you'll want to see. It's got to be rated R, man. It can be done though. It can be done. So we'll have to wait and see. Um, Blumhouse Edge. Will it save Spawn? Who knows? This article caught my eye. Movies with CGI backgrounds. Uh, 10 movies that are literally all green screen. Now, I have no problem with using the volume as long as it's used in a way that's convincing and that you just don't feel like you're entirely all on the set, just like Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantum Mania. Just felt like they're on the set. It looks terrible, guys. Doesn't look real. Well, let's just see what they've got in their list here. Life of Pi, 2020, 2012. Ang Lee, yeah. And you say, well, that's one of the first ones that did it, James. No, it wasn't. I liked Life of Pi, but I never went back to revisit it. I didn't think it was as miraculous as some people said. Thor Love and Thunder. Yeah, I think that one was all shot on CGI backgrounds. I think there must have been some practical sets towards the end where they were all in the big kind of crumbled temple. And I even think what is that? Not New Haven. New Asgard on the cliffside. I think maybe that's the only few external shots that they might have gotten that were practical. Avatar: The Way of Water, of course, and the first Avatar. It's all CG. So yeah, that's. We're not looking at it as if it's a negative thing. Jungle Cruise. Jungle Cruise off background. They didn't actually go out on a boat at all. We might have to watch that one, guys, because it's got Emily Blunt, and I do like Emily Blunt. Sin City, yeah, 2005. That was one of the first ones, right? 300, yeah, that's another one too. That was the selling point of it. Hey guys, we're trying out something different with all different kind of backgrounds of us shooting all on sets. Yeah, when was 300? They don't say, because that was before Sin City, wasn't it? Gerard Butler, great performance. The last shot of him looking up and seeing all the arrows coming towards him is just so much character in his face. Alice in Wonderland, 2010. Yeah, that one was a bit of a blunder though. I don't think Tim Burton knew exactly how to wield the CGI sets and stuff. Because Alice in Wonderland, just being in Wonderland itself should be scary, because it's kind of like an alternate realm where physics and things like caterpillars are talking to you. It should be a scary place, man. And it should have that feeling of it being an endless place. And you didn't get that because the CGI sets made you go, oh, they're just on a green screen set somewhere, right? Oz and the Great and Powerful. Yeah, that movie came and went. I would think I was one of the few people that actually liked it. Mila Kunis was really good in it, and I liked Rachel Weisz. I know people didn't like the fact that it was Mila Kunis that turned into the Green Witch. It should have been Rachel Weisz, but I liked that. Spider-Man: No Way Home. What? No, that had lots of practical sets, didn't it? Is mostly visually complex. No, they were out on real locations at some point, were they? In Jurassic World Dominion? What? It's number one? I would have put 300 and and Sin City down there at the number one spot. Okay. So many CGI dinosaurs to fill in. Most of the movie was, of course, shot using green screens. Bryce Dallas Howard's water scene is where the gang is escaping frozen ice. Actually, yeah, when I think back about it, what a great missed opportunity they had there from Jurassic World Dominion. I liked it because of Bryce Dallas Howard. It was cool to see the original team back. It failed in its execution, didn't it? Interesting list, though. I wanted to pull that up. So we're going to move on to some hit or miss headlines. If it's a hit, we'll talk about it. If it's a miss, we'll move on. Talking about Emily Blunt. I do like Emily Blunt. She says that she's appalled over a resurfaced video showing her call server enormous. I'm sorry for any hurt caused. I was absolutely old enough to know better, she wrote in a statement. So what? She was in a restaurant and had a little bit of an uppity attack, saying that was insensitive. Well, at least she came out and apologized, so good for her. Emily Blunt comes across to me as somebody who is like if you met her in real life and you said, "Oh, hi, Emily," she would wave and nod at you. And if you were in a place that you were close enough to say, "Oh, hi, Emily, I really liked you in these movies. Could I get uh, a autograph?" And she'd be nice to you, and she would give it to you. She's not one of those people who would be kind of like, "Get away from me," kind of people, right? It's not. I don't get that impression from her, and the fact that she's apologizing for calling a server enormous um, reflects that she's sensitive in that way. I'm appalled that I would say something so insensitive, hurtful, and unrelated to whatever story I was trying to tell on a talk show. Oh, she said that on a talk show, on a Jonathan Ross show. Oh, well, then that's minor. And if you go to Chili's, you can see so many of our American friends are enormous. Well, it is what it is. We all have our own lives to lead. But I'll cut her some slack because we are going to watch Pain Hustlers this week, and she is going to be in it, and she's basically the only reason why I am going to watch that movie because we don't get enough Emily Blunt, in my opinion. God damn that black. Jesus. Catherine O'Hara, talking about her in Beetlejuice 2. We just talked about her. So she's going to be in this Pain Hustlers. Yeah, this Friday, guys, 1 p.m. Come join us here on Mirror Domains, and we will be watching it. I don't have high hopes for it. Artglass said, I just rewatched Quiet Place Part 2. The opening act was awesome. Emily Blunt was great in the sequel. Yeah, A Quiet Place Part 2. Yeah, that whole opening scene. And that's what Quiet Place Day 1 is supposed to be about. Like when you actually see whatever. Did they come in on the meteorites or not? Right? What happened there? We'll find out. The Walking Dead spin-offs explained everything to know about the current zombie shows. Um, I was scanning through this, guys. I liked the setup for Fear of the Walking Dead, but once they killed off all the main characters that you were following in the first season, I was like, except for the one daughter, I was like, get out of here with that. I'm through with that nonsense, and I am. The only one that I'll go back to is when Rick Grimes comes back, Andrew Lincoln, because that's when I stopped watching Walking Dead because he left the show, and it was kind of like, yeah, I like uh, Daryl, but it's kind of like I hate Negan. I like Maggie, but it's kind of like the story takes too long to unfold and it just got repetitive. So I will go back and I will be watching The Ones Who Live because I want to see what happens to. Does he get back to his daughter, right, or not? Daryl Dixon gets a second season with the Book of Carol. Okay, she was going to be in the first season, but then she dropped out for some reason. I'll watch the second season if she's going to be in it. It's these two that I wanted to see. Dead City, Maggie and Negan going off in New York. I don't. I guess people are still watching it. Tales of the Walking Dead. I'm a little meh. The fall of a House of Usher, production designer on building the series, multiple houses, and odes to Edgar Allan Poe. I just pulled this one because I wanted to reiterate the fact that we watched episodes 1 to 8, and it was great. Uh, fall of House of Usher, guys. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. I'm kind of done with zombies, but World War Z makes a sequel. I'll be over there. Yeah, I want to see. I want to see that. I would have loved to have seen David Fincher take on World War Z too, and it was going to happen, but then it kind of just fizzled out, didn't it? Barbara Broccoli reinventing Bond for the next films hasn't even begun. So, is there anything to report then here, James? It's James Bond, James. People want to hear about James Bond. Well, there's nothing to report. Barbara Broccoli says that it hasn't even begun. That's kind of like, I just rewatched that scene from the last one where he goes to talk to Blofeld in the prison, and you could really tell that uh, Daniel Craig didn't have his heart in that movie. Yeah, it is what it is. All right, next. Oh, that's Geena Davis. That's not what I was looking at. Was it? Was that what I was looking for? um, yeah, I liked her in that movie. They would ramp up interest by revealing the new James Bond. They would. All right, let's go over to the headlines and see if I missed anything trending out there. Squid Game, the challenge show. Footage from Britney Spears' audition for The Notebook. She was supposed to be in The Notebook. I think I've seen her in a few movies. She wasn't. She was in small roles. I think she could have developed into a decent actress. There you go. That's what I'll say. But you need to work with it. You need to work in your craft, right? Dwayne The Rock Johnson addresses criticism of his wax figure at Grevin Museum. What's the criticism? That his head is too big. I'm gonna have to have my team reach out to our friends at Grevin Museum so we can work on updating some important details, starting with my skin color. Oh, is it not dark enough? They work on his tattoos, though. It looks rather impressive. His neck doesn't look big enough or something. I don't know. Something looks off here. Next, Haunting in Venice will be released on digital platforms October 31st. Paddington in Peru is coming exclusively to theaters January 17th, 2025. So they confirmed that release date. It's still a year and 3 months. The Marvels is in theaters November 10th. Yes. I still didn't cancel my Disney Plus, so I don't know. I think I might just keep it and just we'll roll through it. I'll just add. I don't know. I will do the Monarch Godzilla show. We'll figure it out. Rachel Sennott, I Used to Be Funny, also starring Jason Jones. Okay. An aspiring stand up comedian struggling with PTSD as she decides whether or not to join the search for a missing teenage girl she used to nanny. Well, that sounds very dramatic. Who was Rachel Sennott also in? Why does that name ring a bell? Bodies, Bodies, Bodies. She was in Bottoms, which I still haven't seen. I still need to see Bottoms. Okay. CAA leader. We don't need to know about that. Josh Hutcherson returns to the big screen at Five Nights at Freddy's this Friday. Sophia Coppola's Priscilla. Well, it's November 3rd, right, when that one comes out? Who's Jonathan Bailey, and why are you showing me pictures of him? Happy birthday to Amelia Clark. Cool. There she is, my queen. Yeah, we did a story. We talked about that headline. Was it like a week and a half ago? Where she's had really bad luck of joining franchises that are kind of like fizzling out, which kind of sucks because she is a good actress. Jessica Chastain is a fantastic actress as well. Look at that pink, stunning. Scorsese has opened for 44 million worldwide, his second biggest opening ever. But don't mention the always mention the fact that it's not profitable. It's a bomb, guys. Come on. And see, that's part of the problem here too, is they're trying to spin it in a positive way. It's the second best opening ever, but it's still not a profitable movie. It's not always about profit, James. Well, again, I go back to asking you, if it was your money, did you want that to happen? And you wouldn't. So don't BS me like that. Anyway, Andrew Scott celebrating. I don't give a damn about Rye Lane, starring David Johnson, is streaming on Hulu. Yeah, SAG after strike. Cara Jade Myers. Yeah, she was in Killers. And did you like her in? Was her character likable? No. Yeah, there she is right there. Almost quit acting before landing the role. Well, it'll open the door for some other projects, hopefully. She teaches acting and classes youth on reservations. Oh, good for her. Nice, good. Oftentimes, our stories are told by non-natives, and we're showing as a monolith in buckskin needing to save by the white man or as the villains. However, master filmmakers in the beginning to seek what? Uh, Queen's Gambit was 3 years ago. Wow, great series. Oppenheimer has crossed 945 million worldwide. Yeah, that's going to be the best movie of the year. That's probably going to end up winning Best Picture, guys, and it should. Best performances of 2023 so far. 2 years ago, Last Night in Soho was released. Yeah, we watched that here on the channel. Great experience. Great movie. All right. That's pretty much all I got in the can for today, guys. I don't really have that much more. Um, I don't really have that much more on the afternoon slate as well. But I do want to try to publish some shorts. And we'll probably be up on the Twitch stream at some point. Um, what was I looking up here? I forgot what I was looking up. Oh yeah, I'm fooling around with the idea of opening up, um, just going through and remember how we used to go through headlines looking for things, trending now headlines, uh, taking out all the baseball and sports stuff, uh, looking for some things that are trending that perhaps we can jump on and do a little trend chasing, as they like to call it here. Um, Ooh, the Bills lost yesterday again too. Yeah, I forgot about that. That was terrible. I was watching women's curling though. Jennifer Jones taking down her old third, Caitlin Laws. Yeah. So maybe we'll try something like that. I don't know. I don't know. We'll figure it out as we go along. But as I said, come join us this Friday for Pain Hustlers. Pain Hustlers. My friend in the live chat says, hey, all right, guys, that's it for me today. Hit that thumbs up button, subscribe, and I'll see you next time here on Mirror Domains.